What up? This is gonna be a little disorganized because whatever. I'm just ranting, but a little bit of sense makes a whole lot more than none. So roll with me. You think you think you're listening to my voice right now. You think that it's my eyes that you're meeting. When in actuality, my experience is being transduced through uh, contrived technology, uh, and then being put back together uh, through your monitor, and then being expressed to you as me. Now, if you're watching this video, then chances are I don't need to tell you about the importance of frequency and the truth uh, that that light and sound are naturally, right? But there's a few things I'm gonna kind of, I don't know, talk out loud with you with, because it was just stuff that I was thinking. Again, you might be familiar with the sound manipulation of the 432 hertz versus the 440 and the effect that it has on us as a people. Well, first of all, quick little drop of truth. There's nothing wrong inherently with 440 hertz. What's disturbing about it is just that it's disturbing. The fact that our general environment, i.e., the Earth, i.e., earthen geometry, resonates at a set frequency, we acclimate to that. Now, if that frequency was 236 or 852, like that would just, that's almost arbitrary. It's more of like a color, in that it's like this is it. This is what it looks like. It's like a level or a valence, or it's just the environment. Now, we acclimate in a very healthy way to whatever our environment is. But if our environment is always changing, then we have no, then all of the benefits of having a coherent field, of a coherent being, disappear. Because it takes a kind of settling, a self knowing. It just takes time. It's a process to order. And as things kind of connect and build upon themselves and connect to each other, the power in that is in how you can, how like those networks strengthen and can be used for uh, kind of many other things in your experience. So, for example, your neural networks, your brain starts off as a baby, and as you grow up, your life experience kind of sets patterns into it that are reasonable, like breathing and all these things that we're told are unconscious. But say in a fiction, we fish fiction. It's funny because where I'm going. Say like we get really used to breathing air, and then all of a sudden we're made to breathe something with more helium, and then it takes some time to adjust to having to do that, and so it kind of sucks, but we get used to it. And then just as we're getting used to it, they uh, insert like something else. It doesn't kill us. It's not necessarily bad for us. It's not really bad inherently, because we are the highest technology. These bodysuits, skin suits, these temples, these avatars are amazing. We can do anything. So, just when we stop coughing, we start coughing again. And then as soon as we stop coughing, we're put back into just air and just oxygen, or like its typical formation. And we're like, wow, what the fuck? And now we can't breathe because we're used to needing certain things, this new helium and whatever the fucking barium or whatever you want to fucking throw in the air. And so we can't breathe, but we used to be able to breathe this, so we're just like, and then we get used to it, and then we get used to it, and then they throw us in water, you know, and in this fiction that I'm building, say we can breathe in water, but we don't know that, we're not used to it, and all of the trickery that they just spent uh, introducing all these new elements and fluctuating our environment uh, didn't give us a chance at all to come back to ourselves and create an inner coherency. All of that back and forth, all of that fluctuating, that's the damage that gets done with 432 versus 440 hertz. It's not that 440 is evil. It's not even that there's information embedded in it. It's that 440 isn't 432, and 432 is our ambient environment. So as we go through our world, especially let's go back in history when that distinction was more important because there wasn't all these different frequencies flying around from the center of the galaxy or from the authority. Like you walked through the forest, you walked in the trees, you went into the water. Everything had was pretty stable because not everything was being affected. And now, and then like this newfangled technology called music, they introduce it, and it's beautiful. It's uplifting. It brings people together. It's like another like valency of form that is embedded and overlays harmony. So I'm just fucking tired of fucking holding this motherfucker, and I don't think you guys need me like shaking it all over the place. Uh, so then the powers that be can recognize that that is uplifting, and to draw downwards more effectively, uh, as soon as it's uh, reasonable or practical, they switch it up and put it to 440. So now, whenever you listen to anything digitally or in that form, you're in your pace, you're in your glow. You got your Walkman because that's was probably the first way that like music was really ubiquitously spread when you could carry it on you. And then you're hearing the sounds, you like it, but there's just something different. There's something off, you know? And maybe it's the words, maybe it's the message. It's like now rap is angry, now rock is revolutionary. When really it's all just inciting this disturbing. So all that to say, the more that you fluctuate your electromagnetic field, the more sensitive your field gets to fluctuations. So that's like creates mad disharmony, disorder until you get so attenuated to what is left, what doesn't change. And when you can consciously choose that which is you, then fluctuations are more peripheral to like a nucleus core that is you and persist. You are now invulnerable to we'll call them lower frequencies. When really they're just frequencies that you recognize and choose to not let disturb you. You listen to them in a different way. So, kind of going back to the beginning, you think that you're listening to my voice. Yeah, respects. That's like my, hey, hi, three people. Welcome to being the first audience ever. Two, womp womp. Uh, anyways, let me continue. Yes, my soul sister. Uh, you think that it's my voice you're hearing right now? It sounds like my voice. You think that these are my eyes? Look, no. You think this is my curly hair? I'm gonna look like this because I just hopped out of the shower, yeah. It's noise, it's signal, it's frequency, it's my experience going into my phone and then going off into the ether and then being retransmitted to you. Now, who's to say that it's not reasonable that my frequency is getting tweaked just a little, like by 8 hertz or something? That the color of my skin and or the shades of my eyes are just being like put off just a little bit, just a little, just enough to disturb you because it's not something small to your genius temple avatar is registered and recognized, and then uh, and then if that small little difference is in line with a greater programming, right? Like if that frequency that they just fucking fuck with us just a little bit is what's prevalent in our environment. Yeah, of course we were just talking about this, yo. We're all talking about the same thing. We're on point. Respects, right? If that little tweak of frequency that they're modulating through this experience is unnatural to our beingness, but totally aligned with their programming, which is ubiquitous in the environment, and so our field has recognized as stabilizing, then that's what we attenuate to. We attenuate to this well this programming, and it doesn't need to be. It's not like the subliminal. It's not like my thoughts. There are words underneath these frequencies. They don't need thoughts. They just need the form in which your thoughts take. And boom, just like that, you're not getting my full meaning. Now, the wonderful, amazing, magnificent truth is that they can't stop us. We can override all of this with our awareness, right? So with practice, like if you listen to my voice more, or if you just hear the things that I'm saying, and then you, instead of being like, oh, he's saying that, you're like, you listen, you make them yours by thinking them yourself, and then you connect them to yourself, that overrides little frequency changes. Now, you're like, you're not dependent on my shades or the timbre of my voice. You are sovereign. You're being yourself, and managing your own field of inner coherency. So, but that takes a ton of awareness. That takes listening, and we're not taught any of that. But that's changing now. What's important is, I think I left this in another video, or maybe it was just a thought I had. How do a bunch of fish free themselves by getting together in the net? Right? Like, we can all group together. We can all talk about freedom and what it takes to free us. But I'm sitting over here in Canada. You're sitting over where you are from where you're listening to right now, right? And we're like, we're together, and we really are. But so long as we rely on the distance between us, as long as possible things remain impossible in our thinking, then what the fuck do they care, right? Because we can talk amongst ourselves all I want, as long as we're talking inside the net. So connecting further than that is most important and totally possible. Like, it's what we've been doing forever. I gotta walk my dog, so I got one more thing I want to say because of all the words that I've been using. This is the hidden meaning. This is the hidden programming. We all want to be sovereign. Sovereignty. Yeah. What? Let me backtrack for just a second. Sound has shape. We call it like the sine waves or whatever. They all have different shapes that they make, and they're not two-dimensional. They're spirally. They've got form, and though that form creates form in our mind. If you want to start with something more fiction, more physically, then it's the thought patterns. It's the same sine waves or whatever that you can equate with the electrical signals going on in your brain and your whole nervous system. Because we don't think with our brain, we think with our whole being. Everything is connected to everything, and we use that. Period. It's just more useful if we were told that that's not the way that it works. Especially if they fuck with us relying on you only think with your head, and that's where your eyes are. So look over here, look over here. This is where your ears are. Look over here, hear this, and don't feel your heart, because that's not thinking. Don't feel your gut, because there's nothing there except like the crap that we're feeding you, right? So everything is form, and what they can't ever hallucinate completely is the truth. You can't. There's. I don't know. You can't. Everything is possible, and when you think that, you're free. But let's go with experience in that they can't. We're not to control us in our system. To control, they have to control us where we are. So you can't remove the intrinsic fundamental nature of nature in this place. So they're not, so the trees, the earth, everything, in a sense, without getting too new agey, is a thought, is a form that started on a level that was below visible, that kind of accrued or accumulated into the form that it was inherently taking before that. And then there's like a progression. If we think of the dimensions, it doesn't matter, fucking one, two, three, four, or six, seven, eight, four, six, six, five, four, three. Everything has like a fundamental foundation, and they have to use it. We have to use it. They know that. But if we confuse that meaning, then then they can use anything against us. For instance, if I say yes, and every time I say yes, in your language it means no, well, that's going to be very fucked up. Like until at least we're able to like be like no 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 and we can agree that we are agreeing. Yes and no is easy, but sovereignty. When I say sovereignty, that is a word that I have is a symbol truly that I equate to a meaning that is totally connected to other things in my mind that can't be separate from, like the saw, the word saw, the different definitions that I have. That saw is in sovereignty. And when I say sovereignty, when I think sovereignty, when I feel sovereignty, there is like, and I'm not just making this up. I don't make shit up at all, actually. I only say shit I know. I don't want to risk fucking, I don't know, feeling like I'm lying or being untruthful to myself. So saw, to see in the past. Saw. I use a saw to cut. Saw, that sound. All of the things that kind of yeah, that will see that's what I connect with. Sovereignty, freedom, liberation. But what is sovereignty made of? The word. It means I hear saw, so I hear the past. I hear saw, which means to like cut. I hear rain, which is by far the easiest thing for me to equate with is the water falling, right? Sovereignty. So sovereignty for me means yeah, like self-liberation, like you can't, you have no authority over me. But sovereignty, the word, sovereignty in my brain, sovereignty to each other, right, has embedded in it what you see, saw, the act of sawing. So sovereignty has cutting into with jagged teeth in it. Now there's separation from rain, and rain is water. Water has information. Rain is how nature, how the planet disseminates information. This is why weather programming or weather manipulation is so potent, right? It seems like, look, exactly. You have no authority. If you have no authority, then you have no authorship, right? And if you go further back into some like the Proto-Indo-European languages, arta, arta, art, that those words, some of them mean human. Some of them mean like us, people, right? So now, Sauve? That's another Sauve, Cabernet Sauvignon, right? Save, and this will kind of lead me to the next, and then all I'm doing is planting seeds because this is how they pit us against each other. They pit us against each other. You don't want to be thrown into the pit. What's a pit? A pit's a seed, right? Uh, so now we equate seeding with a bunch of other negative shit, right? Because seeing and seeding is succeeding or suck and ceding, like I cede my control to you, I cede my authority to you, I cede my sovereignty to you, right? And then uh, I don't want to get into it right now because it's too general. I'm making too much of it up, like for hypothetical or uses or whatever. But these words, these sounds, t, so, un, dis. For instance, going back to the sov, save. Save is this like wonderful word. They whatever, not me, put this fucking word on a pedestal. Save this, save that. I want to be saved. Don't save me. Save this. Save your money. When really, saving is the opposite of spending. And whatever you save doesn't exist until you spend it. Spending, that's a bad word. But spend has end, has depend, independ, even interdepend is enter, depend, right? So it's not so sinister, and it's not even effective to trick us by using opposites. There's no such thing as opposites. Opposites oppose, right? There's no such thing really as opposing. We can be more specific, but it's not useful to be manipulated if we recognize true meanings of things. So, uh, the most useful way to lie is to tell mostly the truth and change just one thing. And then let that be the thing that uh, submits control. Because because words are bullshit. Uh, we it, and and frequency, which again has all these kind of frequent flyer, free. I'm positive, like freedom, free dome, a dome, free, like free. It's like C, but it's got fur in front of it, right? See, that's that. that our connection, the division, there's no division. And then division has die, which is die, first of all. And then vision in it, it has die, which is implicit in like the as Latin root as meaning like two or of one that is two, right? So it's not so much that it's like everything means the opposite thing, but if they just change everything a little bit and link it to something that means it's like incongruent meaning just a little bit, then nobody knows whatever the fuck we're all saying. And then worse, if spa and d and da and day all are actually sounds and frequencies with shapes that form in our mind, right? Die vision, right? To kill vision, or or maybe D and die actually means something divine, but it's more useful to embed die to mean death, which also has the same sounds as breath, right? Key, keep, right? Like it's and this is hidden knowledge that's very useful and hard to uh, and hard to discover if you use the science that is taught, because the science that is taught is taught to cover. But the forms that our thoughts make are physical, and the physical forms that our thoughts make inside our mind is communication to the rest of our nervous system, to the communication to the rest of our body uh, as to the different forms that it can take. So if we're never mind if we're constantly fluctuating and in our language, then the sounds that we make, the sounds that the sounds that we mimic in our mind through our thoughts, based on a truer, more base nature, or that's something more fundamental, actually crisscross and short each other out, and it's just like it's crazy making, because that can't mean that and that and that and that and this and that and that and that, and this is all happening on a subconscious level, right? Then that turns into our bodies, that turns into our creations, that turns into our meaning, and that's the only fucking way we can love each other all so much and so actually and so simply, and that not come through. Because if left to our own devices, I love you. And not everyone is made the same. Equality is math. There's no such thing as equality. There's balance, and there's no such thing as balance that's static. Balance is moving, right? It's so its balance is more like synergy, sin, and ergy, clergy, energy. Like English is so prevalent is because English is the mode of sound with which the programming is taken so much. But make no mistake, there's no such thing as a language. All of them are just experiments and systems with which they could kind of layer onto each other until until one is so effective that that it's dominating, right? And they love it when we call them the authority, right? The authors. They They love anything that takes us away from each other, each other, eat, like, and then who's not to say ch and ta don't make similar structures energetically. And and like I'll kind of leave with this. I go back. None of this fucking matters. We are awesome. We are powerful, which is why they change everything all the time. Because if left to our own devices, we figure shit out. We are free. No matter what the fuck they say the words and sound free means, I can reprogram that. And we're not all made equal. I love you too. We're not all made equal, but we are all being. And people that are less conscious get a bad rap. People that don't have the same level of energy, don't house the same possibility for soulness. Like all, if you're a machine, you can still get programmed, and you can be programmed nicely. And 56K sucked, but look at us now. Like whoever you are, no matter where you are, you can develop and into possibility. Because look at us, we're becoming superhuman. And I don't have to convince you of that, right? Convince, consciousness, I con you, convicted, internet, interred, interment. All of this uh, is only as effective as it's happening hidden, hidden, bidden, forbidden, forbidden. Fuck that. Forbidden doesn't mean I don't have it. It's like I'm bidding that shit. I'm forbidding it. You know what I mean? You know? And then that comes through resonance. That comes through your tone. That comes through your face. They can change my color. They can change the hertz a little bit, but they can't change my sense of humor. You know? What up? So I don't know, accept what I'm discovering and discovering, right? Like you start doing it, you start you start first, like it's like the five stages of whatever, like anger, grief, truth, acceptance, all that shit. First you're like, holy fuck. They're like everything doesn't mean anything. Like what if fuck is really just like the contrivance of really potent sacred language? And so like fa and ka, like fa, father, or or ka, ka. Ka is such a fundamental sound that it was like some of the first sounds that humans made. Ka. So first of all, make it bad. Don't say it. Then it can only mean a bad thing. But all of us fucking say it when we mean it, and it's got power, you know. And so the power always lies in us to liberate whatever programming, because ultimately we, right? Perception is changing because we're seeing the sea. We're not in the net anymore. We're swimming. So we decide what the sounds mean. We decide our dome of free. Because if I'm in a dome of freedom, I'm gonna put everything in that motherfucker. Boom, free, baby. You know what I mean? And then my little teaser is fuck the internet. Uh, when we're accessing the greater EM field, what we call the Akashic records. We are accessing each other when we're accessing the breeze. New technology is coming that's more honest, but it does take us getting together. And it's not getting together out of fear, of being caught or being anything. Although meeting in person is just also wise, and you can speak more freely, and like caution is the better side of valor or whatever it is. But that's not the fundamental reason. The reason that we all need to start getting together in person is because that's what's been taken from us. And that, that is what we're creating. Not doing it out of fear. That's their hope, is that if we start to get together, right? Yeah. If we start to get together and congregate, then they'll at least hope that we're only doing it out of then they'll hope that they can make us believe that we're doing it out of fear, when really we're doing it out of love. We're doing it because that's our choice, because we're family. And the immediate nuclear family is bullshit. Not to say it's not important, but it's been like hundreds of thousands of years before, like between the last time a mother, father, son, daughter did anything just on their own. We've been living with each other. Family is great. Family is everyone you want to free, everyone you want to see happy. And then the immediate family is just those loved ones that are closest to you, the ones you keep closest to you, the ones whose smiles are always yours, whose like joy is your reason. And that's not going to be everyone for everyone, but that's why we've got each other. A puzzle made out of one piece is fucking boring and incomplete. And really, the more pieces, the more intricate, the more astounding. Well, that's what I mean. Right? Their smile, their joy. That's like, I could straight up, my favorite thing, the thing that lights me up the most, is seeing someone I love enjoy and smiling. I can just hear their smile, you know? That's the best. That's the best. And so, my dog totally has to pee, but all of this inner unity, this like come to yourself, be sovereign, combine the masculine and the feminine first, and then go off and meet someone you love. That's like using the matrix to break the matrix. Yo, Neo had to like get his ass shit out until he could come back and fly. Right? Yes, we have to come into inner unity. 100%. That is fundamental. But the first people to do that are going to do that more or less on their own because they have no choice. Oh yeah, man. The matrix is broken. Now we just get to see it. This is, I promise that the tribulations left are for the tribulees. The opposite of the jubilees. but not the opposite of the Jews. I don't know. Oh, that got a little racy. That got a little racy. Oh, oh, fucking race is so fun because race, someone's got to win it. It's competition. Do you know competition originally meant striving together? That is the original word for the meaning for competition. Just like the original word for meaning for courage is as distinct from bravery as the expressing the truth of your heart. Now, we modernly we say, you know, you're speaking your heart, you're speaking your truth. We say that that's honest, you know, like it's what you should do. But when we were more connected to our truth, we recognized that we recognized and made a freaking word for it, that when you speak your heart, that is courage. That is to not defeat fear, not to kill it, to overcome it. And that's what we all need to do, is overcome right now. Is whatever our obstacle is, what's the opposite, most direct way to bypass it, to defeat it, to win? And then try that. And then if that gets stopped, then just change it by degree. The time for us helping ourselves, healing ourselves, doing it independent from everybody, all that does is keeping us disconnected from the people like us and surrounded by the people that aren't. Right? And then a whole bunch of us all independent, really good at being ourselves when we're on our own. Then we get together and we're like, I have very little experience getting along with someone else right now. It's been a while. Thanks for joining me. It means a lot. A lot. That, because I hate fucking making videos, but I love listening. And they can't manipulate. They can't manipulate frequencies that they can't see, which is why they create technologies to help them see what they can't see. But nothing is as advanced as us. Not in this programming. Which is why you're listening. I can hear that. And that's my joy, is your feeling. I fucking love you. And I'll see you soon in the sea. Every day. Phoenix, you're fucking wicked. Phoenix Reigns. You know how badass that name is? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, because it's the closest thing that sound and words could come to describe you. Badass. You take care, because I'm giving it to you. I love you. Yeah. What up? Handy P. Namaste. I love you.